I really feel like I need to share this information. um, the last, I would say, week, I've been feeling this energy. I've been feeling like just little by little, just really irritated. When I get really, really irritable, I know it's stuck energy. I know it's energy that needs to be like released in some way just to give me a sense of peace and harmony. And so, if you guys have been following me on my Instagram, I've been going hiking a lot. And I actually thought it was because, I don't know, just whatever was going on in my head. Maybe I just had too many things going on internally with, the sun always being in the sign of Scorpio. I'm very much affected sometimes because I am Sun Scorpio. And so I was like, maybe I'm just overthinking a lot of things. Um, but the only way that I can get like the thoughts to calm down is to just go into nature. Like I did the same thing during the pandemic. The pandemic was so intense emotionally, mentally, and I knew that the pandemic itself and the C word didn't scare me. Didn't have a problem with that. I knew that it wouldn't affect my reality, but I know that I can't control the people around me. I could only control myself. So it was a very intense thing. I couldn't control, my husband, other people that were part of, I guess, my inner circle or my network of people, whether they're freaking out or whatever. I didn't want to be dragged into that energy. And so the best thing I did during that time, and a lot of people did, we went out and just sat in nature and we hiked and we just reconnected with what was actually real, which was the ground. It was stability. It's me sitting in a tree because I feel like I'm a part of that tree, just completely stable in its trunk and just like digging my roots into the ground. It was so stabilizing. So I found myself doing it again this week, and I really thought it was because, the war that's going on right now. Maybe in my closer networks, there may be some weird, chaotic stuff, or just things that I see online on Instagram and everything else. Like everybody's just freaking the F out, and it's really intense for a water sign to take all that in, because we feel so emotional about it. So whether you're a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces, like the waters within us are so much more intense than a lot of different signs. Or if you have, water placements, for sure, you like, depending on what planets are influencing. I guess, or no, sorry, depending on where other placements that are water is what I mean. But yeah, it's a very intense time. And at least in my world, I just feel like it's a very intense time. And actually, I'm not going to just say my world. It is an intense time. There is so much going on, and we don't know what is real, what's not real, what's being fed to us, what's not being fed to us. And so all this chaos just really made me realize I need to go away. I need to go away. Some people, and I'm going to give you the darkness of this, just to give you some insight, just in case you are part of this group. The emotions can be so tense sometimes where you want to feel like you want to rip out whatever it is out of your heart, internal. You want to just release because it's so intense in your body that maybe sometimes it comes down to start to think about suicide, start to think about like, well, what if I wasn't here anymore? Then I wouldn't have to feel this way anymore. And I want you guys to know, those that are feeling that intense, because I know sometimes it's more intense. I've been doing this for a long time, so I don't go there anymore. I used to a lot. Back in my early 20s, even my teens, like I did that a lot. I don't do that anymore because I realize everything is just a transit. Everything's just a transit. Nothing lasts forever. You might feel better in 24 hours. You might feel better in 48 hours. It just all depends. So for those of you that are feeling that intense work right now, know that it will get better, but you have to do something different. And when I mean do something different. It can be anything. It can just be go sit outside on your porch. It can be just scream. I did this early in my living room. I was stretching and I just decided to scream. My husband was like, we good? I'm like, we're good. I was like, I can probably scream harder. I was like, if you want to go back to your office. Because I feel very intense feelings right now and I'm not afraid to express them. And sometimes that expression is just to go out into nature for me. And I hope some of you guys feel that same way. Like you guys feel like you get to ground yourself when you're out in nature. But the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because so this past week when I went hiking, I was like, maybe I'm just going back into my own pandemic. Maybe this is just me needing this because there is so much chaos that the only way for me to stay in harmony for the people around me, which is my closest family, is, my sister, my niece, my husband, my kids. I'm talking about my really close circle. In order for me to stay in harmony, I have to do things that make me feel better, because what's happening on a macro level has nothing to do with me. I've said it. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't have anything to do with you, maybe. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for me personally, I'm just talking about my personal experience. It has nothing to do with me. What I need to do to take care of my life and my family is to stay in harmony within myself, because then I know it projects and it lights up the people around me, and then I can help bring them up. But if I don't take care of myself, it's not going to happen. So don't come at me if you're like, oh my God, you don't feel bad for these people or this people. No, you're right. I don't care. I don't care right now, because what's more important is me and my well-being and my emotional well-being. And with that, I know my family will be okay. I know my family will be safe and sound, and they will have a beautiful life, and we can create a beautiful reality and be one of those to tread those, those new paths, instead of going down the same fudging road every single time of just like this darkness. So going out into nature really, really helped me. What was I saying? Oh, so I thought this was going to be my new pandemic. I'm like, okay, I'll just treat this like a new pandemic, like for me personally in my micro world. And then, excuse me. Ooh, energy's coming out. Yes. The burping is a good thing. That means that energy is moving. It's actually already making me feel better. I knew there was a reason why I needed to make this video. So come to find out, there was a freaking Cazimi in Scorpio. And for those of you that follow astrology or don't follow astrology, I'll tell you what a Cazimi is. It is when a planet is closest to the sun, almost conjunct with the sun, in that house. And right now that house is Scorpio. So it's within like 17 minutes of that. So just to give you a visual, it's like whatever planet is next to the sun or closest, almost conjuncting, it's almost like that planet gets to sit in the throne of the sun and kind of just be like, here I am. What will we do with this power? And Mars rules Scorpio. So it was in his home sign. So there was a lot of power, I would say, yesterday. And of course, nothing is exact because nothing's linear. There was intense energy before, and there will be intense energy for the rest of the month. I'm just gonna throw out there, the next 2 weeks is gonna be intense. And so having that Cazimi there and having Mars sitting in that throne has really shaken up a lot of different things. Maybe you've experienced it in your own world, maybe in your internal world. Maybe you're like, what is all this power and I don't know what to do with it, so I'm just gonna sleep all day. That's okay too, because I've done that. Like, hey, especially my poor water signs and also fire signs, like we're being affected. The earth signs are a little bit more grounded. The air signs, it could affect you guys too as well. It affects everybody, but my whole point is there is this power. Mars is sitting in that throne right now, and some people are using it for their advantage, which is great. They're realizing that they have power. Maybe right now is the time to take initiative in the things that you've been really wanting to do, and just get the F out in the world, and show yourself and be yourself, and reveal who you are, and show up bright and light, and kind of ready to charge, but in a really positive and beautiful way. Like this is really beautiful energy. At the same token, it is a very powerful energy. So if you don't know how to use it, and I'm still learning, I'm not here telling you I know how to use it. Oh my gosh, this is exactly why I'm doing this now. Sure, this is why I'm doing this now. This is why I'm sharing my story. But you meet me yesterday, I was sitting on the couch, and I basically was just completely just dismantled. Like parts of me felt like disconnected, and I really needed to like take that time and not do anything. Yesterday, for example, also, so this was really fascinating. So Pluto is actually going direct, and it is starting to try to like poke itself back in the doorway of Aquarius. So we're still in Pluto Capricorn, but we're at the last degrees. With the Cazimi going on and Capricorn or Pluto Capricorn right now, there is a lot happening with people wanting to stay in this structural society. People are trying to hold on to structure like it's something that we need to do for the rest of our lives. There are transits, like I said at the beginning of this video, there are transits. So it's the energy of how we do things will change throughout years. And Capricorn, since 2000, I think 2008, 2009, or was it? It might have even been a little bit after that. I can't remember the exact dates, but we've been in Pluto Capricorn for a while. So it's been very structural. Everybody kind of like, there was a huge awakening in 2012. Like everybody's realizing, oh, hold on, there's a structure to everything, no matter what it is, whether you're coming from the spiritual world, whether you're coming from, economics, political, art, the art world, whatever. There's just a very narrow structure for everything. It is the ABC 1, 2, 3. It's been a very linear world. Well, we are shifting, and it's trying to poke its head through the doorway of Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius has no structure. Of course, everything has its own structure, but in its own way. But Pluto in Aquarius, it's time to rebel. It's a time to do things the way you want to, the way that you feel is best for you, the way that and the way, I would say, what's best for the collective, not just thinking of how do I structure this so that everything is in alignment or everything's aligned. Yeah, because it has something to do with alignment. It doesn't matter to a Capricorn whether it's in alignment with the rest of the world or not. It's just, no, this is just what it is. Whereas Aquarius, that's why they're known as like the alien planet. It's very out there. It's something that people don't really like understand. It's Uranian energy. It's rebel, it's doing things unconventionally, technology, advancements, it's thinking out of the box. And so with this Cazimi and Pluto trying to go back into what it's going to be in for the next 40 years, very long time. Actually, this is the longest period we're going to see in our lifetime of Pluto being in a sign. But with these energies going on right now, we are going to see huge blow-ups and I would say, what would this be? Power hungry, money hungry. This is coming from the Capricorn side. It's like, I need to keep it the way it is. If I don't, then then everything will be in in distortion, and I won't benefit from this later. And I saw that yesterday. I saw that yesterday with, for those of you that are in the tech world and follow OpenAI, the founders, the board, let Sam Altman go. I can make a whole video about him. He's amazing. I truly do think he was the brain that was going to keep us from letting technology go into hands that it didn't need to. And they got rid of him yesterday. They fired him, and then another board member got demoted because he didn't he didn't agree with what was happening. And then of course Microsoft lost billions of dollars because of it, because they were supporting OpenAI. So a lot of people, I mean, they lost so much money yesterday because there was a lot of people that kind of were sideswiped with the news. Even Altman was completely like, I don't know what just happened. But whatever, I won't get into conspiracies because I'm sure there's tons of conspiracies. But I know that Capricorn energy is really trying to hold on to as much as they can. And so you're going to feel a lot of that, and maybe even in your own personal life you're feeling insecure, you're feeling like you have no control over your finances and what's going to come in to into your life, and you just feel so like I'll speak on my experience. Currently this week I had a big shadow come up for me, and that's another thing that a Cazimi can really show up, is the shadows, your biggest fears. They can show up. Christmas around the corner, my daughter having a performance, that all kinds of stuff. With all this money, people focusing on money during these times, of course, they would structure it till for everybody to spend the most money at the end of the year, when usually everybody's kind of just like doesn't have it because we've had a great time throughout the year. Anyways, once again, that's another conspiracy. Not really, it's truth. So, but sorry, I'm just gonna babble until I get back on track. But maybe I have been feeling insecure, like, oh man, especially with the Altman news, with Sam Altman, because the company that my husband runs, that I also help with, I help as a business coach for him. I make sure that I'm watching all this stuff, understanding where the technology world is, marketing, all of that, so that I know when I talk to him I can kind of steer him the right way, because he's just busy in his computer like doing this. And so when him and I both found out about Altman yesterday, I had this like realization, oh my god, what if they pull the API and then my husband no longer has OpenAI in his app to run off of? What if that happens? And all these like fears just like stepped in, and I got so scared and I felt so insecure, and I'm like, oh my god, what if like everything we built on completely disappears and it just all goes to shit? And we the last 10 years him and I have been together, we have built this beautiful harmonious like place, and now I might have it taken away from me. Well, I know where that comes from. I grew up in a home where my parents, I was taken away from my parents for their own reasons or whatever for a little while, and it's abandonment. It's my abandonment issues. It's feeling like the rug is being pulled from under me. But I've been through this. I've been through these experiences before. I've had it all taken away from me a few times throughout my life. So I know I always survive. I know I'm always taken care of, and what is taken care of actually ends up being way better. So today I woke up really upset and just like kind of really frustrated. I'm like, I need to get this energy out. And so first thing I said to my husband when I woke up, I'm like, you're gonna go get me a almond croissant, and that's what you're gonna do. I just wanted to eat my emotions this morning. And he's like, okay, that's okay. And thank God my earth signs, like, oh, some of you guys, because some of you guys, remember, it doesn't matter if you're just a sun, if you have earth placements, because we all have earth, water, sun, or earth, water, air, and fire. But specifically my husband, he has a lot of earth in his chart, and he grounded me, and he's like, that's fine, that's okay, you eat your emotions, babe. So I did that. I had coffee. Wrong thing to do. When you have stuck energy, do not have caffeine. It will make it worse. And I know that. And for some reason, I still did it. But it's okay. Learning all my lessons as I, walk along this earth. And repeating lessons. Not even just learning them, but repeating them. So once I had my coffee and I had my little treat, I sat on the couch and him and I were talking, and I just, again, I was just like started to unravel again. I'm like, oh, here I go again, and I'm like laying on the couch. I'm like, I don't want to do anything again. I don't want to do anything. But then on the other side of my brain is, but I do need to do things. Like I need to put Christmas decorations up. I promised myself that I would do it before December so that, you know, I have, so that I can bring joy to my family too. Like I know like I'm bringing joy regardless, but I think an external version of that right now is also a good thing. I think that's why some people are really into the holidays right now, because that's all we have, especially with the chaos that's going on in the world. We can just bring it into our lives, into our micro lives. And so, you know, I was like, all right, eventually made breakfast at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, where it's already getting dark, like it is right now. And made breakfast. And after I ate a really good breakfast, you know, I felt better. I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit better. I'm like, okay, maybe it was just like low blood sugar. Cool. Um, I'm like, okay, but I still feel this like stuck energy. And I had watched another astrologer, and she kind of like mentioned how, especially for water signs, like we might have a lot of emotions come up because all of this is happening. The Cazimi is happening in a water sign, so a lot of waters are being, you know, are um, I would say, being shaken up right now. And that could mean external waters too, like literally, maybe pipes are breaking, maybe something's going on in the ocean. It could be water, you know, liquefied things. It can be, who knows if who knows if that, you know, in Ireland, if the volcano will go off this sometime this week, because it'd be appropriate for what's going on right now, especially with Mars um, being in Scorpio with the sun. So I started to feel better. And I knew I had to like move this. So I'm like, you know what, I'll go take a shower. Let me rinse all of this gaga energy off. That always makes me feel better. And then I just like, I don't want to go outside. I don't feel like going outside. I don't want to force myself to go outside and do something I don't absolutely want to. And sometimes that's a good thing. But I was like, oh, you know what? Another way to get my energy out is by speaking, is by writing, is by doing something that helps me get whatever's here and here out. And so I'm like, I'll just do a video and I will tell everybody how I'm feeling. And if you guys are feeling the same exact way, that I just want you guys to know you guys are feeling the actual energy that's out there. And that's okay. If there are things that you feel like you can't control, and that you just feel like just this irritation, or you just feel like really depressed, or whatever it is, or maybe you have this like just this fire to like get things going, all of it is, it's coming from the same sources. It's coming from the Mars in sun, you know, the Mars in the sun's throne right now, in, you know, surrounded by water. So yeah, it's normal. It's normal to go through these ups and downs. I go through it all the time. I know so many people that I talk to sometimes, like, how could you, you know, you keep things together so well. No, I don't. I am the most emotional person probably anybody would ever know if they really knew me. And that's, I kind of just want to share that for now on, because I am not perfect. I am going through the same lessons everybody else is. I'm repeating lessons just like other people are. I have overcame lessons just like other people are. We are all going through it in our own microcosm, you know, world, and it's also being projected in our macrocosm right now. But the one thing I can say, out of all of these feelings I've been feeling the last few days, and with this Cazimi taking place, is having to remind myself the darkest days, we can still be the light. We can still be the light. It does not matter how dark you feel, and if you're sitting on a couch or you're sitting in bed and you're not doing anything, don't feel bad for that, because that is how you get through, so that you can see a light. There's nothing wrong with sitting there. So don't you dare call yourself lazy. Don't you dare say that, you know, I should be doing this. Don't put expectations on yourself. Get well first, and then that light will come through. But if you force it, then all you're doing is either oppressing that emotion and oppressing that darkness, and it's gonna come up again. So you might as well just sit your arse on the couch, on the bed, whatever, wherever it's going, and just do nothing, even if you're staring at a damn wall. Do it for you, do it for your family, do it for your friends, do it for the people around you. Do it for you though, so that you can overcome this. But especially again during these more darker times, in reality, we have a choice. We can either fall in to the reality and disruption, the disruption that, you know, they're pushing on us, or you can center yourself and you can find a way to feel good and find a way to balance and align or harmonize your own energy, so that when you just take a walk and maybe you smile at somebody because you're feeling better, you might have just lit them up. And then they're going to feel better. And then they're going to light somebody up. And then vice versa. And then it just keeps going and trickling just like water. Eventually, you don't realize, but you just affected 1,000,000 people and had no idea, just because you took the time to take care of yourself. And now you get to be a source of light when people are having their darkest days. So I just wanted to share that today. I'm not even going to edit this because I just wanted to get it out there. Hopefully, you guys listened to it today. Today is the 18th, November 18th, 2023. I hope you guys hear it. And if this resonates with you, please leave a comment. I would love to hear if anybody else is feeling the same energy. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and be well. Be well. I love you. Say bye, Archie. Bye.